a number of longer lectures about evolution online. There was also a debate that took place in London almost a decade ago. You can see that online as well. When I went over the story of Adam, I have a series of the stories of the prophets. I know it's on pause right now, but I have finished Adam alayhi salam in 35 episodes. So Adam alayhi salam, I did a long series on Adam, and I did Nuh as well. Began much of Nuh alayhi salam, and I haven't finished. But Adam alayhi salam, when I did him, 30 episodes or 35 episodes, I think the 6th or 7th, you can look it up. It's all about some ideas of evolution. You are science students in this university, correct? Most of you? Okay, so I will be a little bit more advanced with you. There is no easy answer. We are still trying to figure out the best answer. That is a fact. Especially those who are studying evolutionary biology. You understand this better than I do because my background is not biology, my background is engineering. I have a degree in chemical engineering, I have a minor in chemistry. Biology was not my field, I didn't like it that much, so I loved chemistry more. But I have studied enough and I understand enough to realize that evolution does present an interesting challenge. It's a challenge, and we take the challenge, okay. But it is not my job, because I'm not an evolutionary biologist. I ask around the world, those that are studying evolutionary biology and those who believe in the Quran, to help us with a better response. In the meantime, there is a preliminary template of a response. Of the things that we can say is that the Quran did not tell us how animals were created, other than human beings. So, if somebody were to say animals and fish and mammals and plants have an evolutionary tree, but Homo sapiens, human beings, are not a part of that tree, there's nothing un-Islamic about that. Evolution can be considered to be factually correct from a theological perspective for all species other than Banu Adam. That's first point. Is that clear? Now, to be very clear, brothers and sisters, and this is a problem, please understand me. I am not saying evolution in animals is a fact. I am saying if it is a fact, it doesn't contradict the Quran. Do you see the difference? I'm not a scientist. I'm not an evolutionary biologist. Who am I to say it is a fact or not? I am an expert in theology, in seerah, in Islam. If somebody comes and says to me, can I believe in evolution as a Muslim? I'm answering as a scholar, not as an evolutionary biologist. And I say, as a Muslim, you may believe in evolution of all species except Homo sapiens. Do I say I believe in evolution? That's a separate question. Do you see the distinction, right? Is it clear? I am not a scientist, I'm not making scientific claims. I'm a theologian, I'm an expert in Islamic theology, Islamic law. I'm speaking as a sheikh, as an alim. If you believe in evolution, in all species, it has no impact on your iman as long as you don't go to Homo sapiens, human beings. That's the first point. Second point, there is no problem in affirming the existence of humanoid species. Whether it is Neanderthal, whether it is Cro-Magnon, any other species that are humanoid, the Quran does not affirm or negate. So once again, we do not have a theological position. And if somebody says there were species that were similar to us but not us, it doesn't contradict the Quran. In fact, one could argue there is some evidence in some of our classical books that perhaps this might be true. And again, this is very ambiguous, but if you read some of the earlier tafasir, when the angels questioned Allah's wisdom that why are you creating Banu Adam and they're going to be killing and causing fitna and fasad, we actually find some early scholars say that is because there were other creations that were similar and they did this So when Allah sent another prototype, they're like, Ya Allah, we already saw what they did in the past, right? There is this notion. Now again, to be clear, I'm not once again saying that is the fact. I'm simply saying, if somebody believes in it, it is not un-Islamic to believe. You see, my point is clear. People misunderstood me even back then. I am not making the claim. I'm merely saying to make such a claim is not Islamically problematic. So far so good, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, that's the second point. So no problem to affirm Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, they're not Banu Adam. Okay, they are another species, Allah created them, they no longer exist. Why should we care about that? The third reality is that we do not have a timeline, a chronology of when Adam alayhi salam existed. The Jews and the Christians believe Adam existed 6,000 years ago. We do not have this belief. The Quran and Sunnah does not have a timeline. So if somebody says, again, if, I'm not saying it, please don't misunderstand. There's a problem, people, astaghfirullah, brothers and sisters, some people, all they want to do is cause fitna. They want to read in the word. Be careful. This is the deen of Allah. And accusing people of these types of theological deviations, you need to know what you're talking about. I know what I'm saying and I know what I'm not saying. If somebody were to say, perhaps Adam existed 100,000 years ago, I am saying that belief is neither affirmed nor denied by the Quran. It's neutral. It's not un-Islamic to believe this. If we were to push back the existence of Adam alayhi salam 50,000 years, 100,000 years, it doesn't affect our aqidah. Because the Quran did not come with a timeline. And I say this because the biologists in the room know very well. We have carbon-14 dated Homo sapiens to at least 250,000 years, if not more, right? We know for a fact there were creation like us quite a while ago. Not only just 5,000 years ago, right? In fact, we have paintings done by human beings. We have their fingerprints, 25,000 years preserved in that cave in France. We have structures built by Homo sapiens in Turkey that are 11,000 years old, way before the Bible says 6,000. 11,000 years old. We have uncovered buildings and structures that people just like us lived in. Literally other Homo sapiens like us. This is, again, this is kind of sort of a biological and scientific fact. Humans have been on Earth for tens of thousands of years. This cannot really be scientifically disputed. And I'm saying, Islamically it's not a problem to believe that, right? So this is the third point. So far so clear. Fourth point. We firmly believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly created Adam. And Adam alayhi salam came down to this earth, and from Adam all of us come. We firmly believe that the Quran is explicit that Adam was fashioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the ruh of Adam was blown into Adam by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Adam is a unique species, unique. And therefore, it is a problem as a Muslim, it is a problem to say that Adam is somehow a biological product that Allah did not create directly, because the Quran explicitly affirms the direct creation of Adam. Now this point is the only point that as of yet perhaps clashes with the theory of evolution. Perhaps clashes. I say perhaps because one possible conciliation, which I have said in a more detailed lecture. And again, you asked, I'm going into details, and this is what I do. These are the difficult questions I tackle, so if you want to ask me, I will give you my response to this. If somebody were to say, once again, I'm not saying it, right? Please make sure. If somebody were to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed all of the creation to be evolved, and before the coming of Homo sapiens, Allah allowed humanoid forms, whether they're Neanderthal, whether they're Cro-Magnon, whether they're whatever they are, Homitus, what is it, Habilitus, whatever it is, I forgot all the names right now. all of these, if Allah allowed them to be formed via evolution, and the next species that might have come, if Allah allowed evolution, would have been Homo sapiens. But at that point in time, Allah sent Adam miraculously down. And Allah sent down Adam such that his DNA and his structure and his form fit into the puzzle perfectly. But he was not a part of the puzzle. I call it divine intervention. If Allah sent down Adam at the right time, the right place, such that the DNA appears to resemble the chimpanzee, the DNA and the structures and the bone structures and every anomaly that scientists point out, which is a fact, can be said, yes, you are correct, that it is possible that if evolution had happened, this might have been a species that has been formed, but Allah did not allow it to happen via evolution. Allah sent down Adam at that point in time, and the reason why all of the DNA matches is because the creation of Allah is perfect. And so Allah intended the system to be perfect. There's no deceit. Allah is not trying to deceive us. It's simply the puzzle being perfect. There would not be a theological problem to make this claim. Once again, I'm not advocating it. I'm simply saying, if somebody said it, it would not be a problem. And if scientists say, but this cannot be proven, we say, correct, but neither can you disprove it. Correct, it cannot be proven via science, but we believe in science and the Quran. And we have to find a harmony between a fact of science and the facts of the Quran. And if we were to posit this theory, and it is a theory, then perhaps there is no clash between science and the Quran. So this is a possible solution. My request to the experts in the audience, go find us a better